Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo is in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to participate at the World Liquefied Petroleum Gas Association Forum, where he will be delivering the keynote address. The Vice President was received on arrival by the head of the Nigerian Consulate in Dubai, Abu Muhammad, world leaders, top government ministers from several countries, and chief executives of major multinational corporations in the liquefied petroleum gas sectors around the globe will be attending the week-long 2021 World LPG Week from Sunday through Thursday this week under the auspices of the Paris-based World LPG Association. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the Vice President will be speaking on Tuesday at the forum, which is expected to attract over 2,000 delegates from 72 countries on the theme of the LPG Week, Energizing Tomorrow. The Vice President is expected back in Abuja on Thursday. A bit of legislative affairs here. The House of Representatives Committee on Federal Capital Territory alleges that the FCT administration loses about 200 billion naira annually on leakages related to land matters. At the inaugural sitting of the investigative hearing, the committee says issues of revenue leakages, illegal estate development, double allocation of land titles, among others, are some of the anomalies in the activities of the Abuja Geographic Information System.
Deserves nothing but the best as envisioned to be a first-class capital city, comparable to any part of the world. We implore the Honorable Minister of FCT, the leadership of the relevant mandate secretariats, departments and agencies, that's the MDS of the FCT, to grant us the needed cooperation and logistic support to achieve the much desired positive results of this great assignment.
Heads of the various units from the FCT who appeared at the hearing were asked to submit necessary documents, as mandate secretaries are expected to make presentations at subsequent sittings. Nigeria is said to be committed to repositioning the transportation sector for sustainable development. This assurance was contained in a message by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at the opening ceremony of the 3rd National Transport Summit by the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, taking place in Abuja. Rina Kaloka reports.
The Minister of Transportation, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, while delivering the Vice President's message, says federal government is set to reposition the transportation sector with the completion of major projects on the road, rail and maritime subsectors. He solicits the support of stakeholders in the transportation industry.
In all of these, government will play its part by providing the enabling environment, while the private sector should play its part by mobilizing the necessary funds and personnel. Government is already doing its part with the Companies and Allied Matters Act, KAMA 2020, the Finance Act 2020, PEBEC, and several other initiatives in place.
Director General Nimasa, who is the President's Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, Bashir Yusuf Jamo, made a case for renewed scrutiny in the sector.
It is also time to take stock nationally of all transportation assets of Nigeria. CIOTA pledges to play a supportive role in this regard.
The transportation sector is ours to regulate. No one can do it for us. No agency, be it public or private.
The Institute of Transport Administration was incorporated in 1986 with the aim of promoting education, controlling and regulating the practices of efficient transport management and administration. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
The massive infrastructural development journey of the federal government is becoming visible as many people we hear are testifying. For roads, government is opening more completed highways to commuters in different parts of the country. Abdullahi Muhammad reports that this is the fallout of its unrelenting commitment of resources and painstaking supervision.
With an integrated infrastructural development plan as its guide, a conviction to complete all abandoned road projects with an aggressive approach to building new ones, the federal government under the leadership of President MUHAMMADU BUHARI sets out. The man responsible for overseeing the implementation of the master plan goes about with an eagle eye, supervising the quality and ensuring compliance to standards. From south to east, north to west and the center, he crisscrosses, keeping contractors on their toes. So his principal, the president, monitoring from afar. Now it's time to deliver to Nigerians the dividend of the investment on infrastructure. Up north, Sokoto Tambol, Jega Kwantagora Makera Phase 1, 250 kilometers, is done and dusted. Subsequent days, emissaries of Mr. President gave green light to commuters on Vendicare in Benue to Obudu Cattle Ranch in Cross River State. Newe Uduma Oduro Road Section 1 and 2 in Ebonyi, Enugu State also opens. Kano Meduguri Dual Carriageway Sections 2 and 3 awaiting formal opening. But the icing on the cake is the evolution of the second Niger Bridge. It was inherited, but a top priority, and now close to completion.
And of course, we have to extend our appreciation to the confidence reposed in the management of this ministry by Mr. President MUHAMMADU BUHARI, and our Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola for entrusting us the responsibility of implementing the policy direction of this administration. It has been good, quite difficult and challenging, having regard to the long neglect of the sector over the years.
This is surely not going to be the last time that stories about inauguration of completed highways and road networks across the country will pop up on the media space. You may want to ask why. Why? Because most of the investment made by the federal government in the rehabilitation of highways and roads across the country has already matured, and this is the time for harvest.
The highways with the little torches to harvest time includes the Abuja Kefi Makodi, Abuja Lokoja, Abuja Kaduna Kano, and Lagos Ibadan. These and many other are expected to be completed in the near future. In Abuja, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
Well, for the first time in 7 years, Jemeta Bridge is wearing a new look, especially at night, as a result of provision of solar-powered light by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA. Usman Mukhtar will tell us more about it.
Jemeta Bridge plays a significant role in the socio-economic development of the citizenry. The bridge links the people of Adamawa to the neighboring states and some countries, that is Cameroon and Chad Republic. Despite being important, using the bridge, especially during night hours, is very dangerous to motorists because of darkness. It is in the light of this, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, provided a solar-powered street light on the bridge to ensure security and free vehicular movements.
Actually, in fact, I was really amazed. I used to fly this road a lot. It's very dark indeed. But when I saw the light, I am impressed. Now you can see that there's light over. If you reach, you can see the bridge. There's light. On top of the bridge, there's light. And up before the bridge, there's light.
The work is 100% completed under our supervision. We have checked all the street lights. They are all functioning. Above all, they were given some protections against motorists. In case of accidents, they are protected with some concrete provision. The poles may not be heated.
FEMA added that the bridge will continue to receive attention, putting into consideration its socio-economic benefit to the people. In Yola, Usman Mukhtar, NTA News.
Strategic role of the civil society in achieving safe schools in Nigeria remains critical as Nigeria strives to improve quality and safe education. Consequently, a 3-day step-down training is facilitated by the Development, Research and Project Center in collaboration with Education in Emergency Technical Working Group supported by Ford Foundation in Abuja. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports.
Been advocating for girls' education, and it makes our work very, very difficult to go to the village to convince parents to put their girls in school. It's very, very difficult, and so some of them are getting married. In fact, the girls themselves, they don't even want to go back to school because of what they experience.
Dr. Fatima Adamu is from Nana Girls and Women Empowerment Initiative in Kebbi State, who related her experience on the heels of the abduction of schoolgirls in FGC Birni Yauri. She is among the 50 representatives of civil society groups meeting here. They are discussing on how to come up with new strategies to improve safety in schools, as well as their know-how in engaging government officials to keep schools safe.
Civil society groups will be told and trained on the decisions and recommendations of the African Union Summit on Girls' Education.
If everyone can play their own responsibility towards ensuring that schools can continue, because we are saying that schools should never stop, but the schools should be made protective. The environment should be made protective to support learning.
Traditional and religious leaders, as a custodian of the grassroots, to deepen communication and mobilizing community to take ownership of the schools, to support government in becoming vigilance and watchdogs, working with the security agency, creating intelligence gathering.
We call on the media and also like CSOs to actually hold them accountable and to follow through and monitor that Nigeria implements the plan of action.
It is expected that the ratification of the initiative of March 20th, 2019 by the Federal Executive Council will further strengthen national policy to guide implementation nationwide. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
We'll make a first stop now to Lagos, and Adiola is set to guide us.
Thank you, Ruth. The uniqueness of the NTA in terms of its wide reach and professionalism cannot be rivaled. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Gbasa, said this when he led other officers to the NTA Lagos Network Center on a courtesy visit. Rear Admiral Jason Gbasa commended the Nigerian media, particularly the NTA, for reporting activities of the Navy, especially at its current period of capitalization. The flag officer commanding noted that apart from safeguarding the nation's maritime domain, it is on record that the Nigerian Navy has enjoyed tremendous support from the President MUHAMMADU Buhari administration.
President MUHAMMADU Buhari himself will be commissioning 6 ships, 1 helicopter, and 42 boats into service. Amongst these boats is one in particular, a seaworld defense boat that was conceptualized, designed, and constructed in country by Nigerians.
Zonal Director, NTA2 Lagos Network Center, said the visit has further strengthened the synergy between the NTA and the Nigerian Navy. He added that with the station's reach, the activities of the Navy will be told to the world in the right perspective.
NTA2 is available live on 3 streaming platforms on the internet, 247. And then NTA2 is available on 3 traditional platforms, making 6 huge platforms availability.
Before departure, the Rear Admiral suggested that the NTA management could utilize the resources of its Defense College for the training of defense correspondents in order to broaden their horizon and security reportage. The Nigerian Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A has arrested 41 suspects for contravening extant laws on the importation of goods. The arrests were made within 5 weeks as efforts are being intensified to ensure that smugglers do not take advantage of the festive season for the importation of poisonous commodity. Michael Olaleye reports.
This is the most challenging time of the year, when smuggling activities are usually on the high side. This is visible by the types of items displayed at the headquarters of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A. More than 13,000 bags of foreign rice were seized within 5 weeks. But a glimpse of hope here for the customs has to do with the identification of means of conveyance.
We are desirous to go after them wherever they may be. Most of these rice were intercepted at the bush parts. Then some were dumped in areas where they want to be picking them one after the other.
There is an agreement with community leaders in volatile areas on the possibility of banning motorcycles for the conveyance of rice. But the discovery of a warehouse filled with expired drinks with inscriptions written in Chinese language is compounding the battle options.
The moment it enters market, they will sell it cheap. And Nigerians, this is cheap, well, I want to do Christmas. This one is good for me. Then they will take it. After some months, you start seeing people developing so many ailments.
For every crime, there must be an accomplice. The partners in crime involved in the packaging of these 907 kilograms of cannabis sativa are under the customs radar. The drugs were packed like parcel and picked in a bus with another sizable number put in sacks to look like kola nuts. One area of success that will continue to resonate is the arrest of the 2 prime suspects connected with the killing of customs officers between September and October 2021. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Amina in Kaduna will be the next person to give us stories in that zone, but that will be after this first break. Just stay with us on Nationwide.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President MUHAMMADU Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
One country, one peaceful people, united in diversity.
We are
great Nigerians.
Let's be peaceful.
We refuse to be manipulated by desperados and instigators.
We cannot succeed without your cooperation.
A peaceful and united Nigeria is possible.
Join us in one voice, one love and unity.
As we march around the 36 states of Nigeria, including the FCT,
for national peace
and unity campaign.
Babban taron Najeriya domin dawo da soyayya a tsakanin 'yan Najeriya.
When the power of love overcomes the love for power.
For our country, Nigeria. Together we stand.
This message is brought to you by the ambassadors of Voice of Change Initiative, supported by Nigerian Television Authority NTA and Federal Capital Territory FCT.
National politics and youth inclusion, issues and development. That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, incisive and educative. Join us at 10:30 p.m.
The Security and Civil Defense Corps is upscaling sensitization of its personnel on the importance of COVID-19 vaccination. At a Train the Trainers and Community Workshop for Northwest Zone in Kaduna, the Corps says sensitization is crucial to curtailing further spread of the novel coronavirus, especially with the discovery of a new variant Omicron. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Seated here are personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps from the northwest zone of the country for COVID-19 response training. Trainers at this session put on the table basic and core COVID-19 preventive measures, as well as the need to sensitize Nigerians on the new variant, Omicron.
To ensure that you have complete data.
This has become necessary because the turnout of clients for this vaccine has been less than expected, and that is actually affecting us and would affect the spread. In fact, some of these variants that are coming up now, fingers are being pointed at the lack of vaccination by some people.
Commandant General Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, in a message, urges participants to be disciplined and diligent in carrying out the important national assignment.
This vaccination is for our own good. Is to protect ourselves. Every person needs to be vaccinated, and that's the effort the government has. They have procured this vaccination free of charge. You just go, get yourself vaccinated, and get this certificate, and you keep.
Participants are to in turn train other officers at their various states and sensitize Nigerians on the viral disease. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Kano State government has remained faithful to its promise of delivering quality results on the ongoing renovation of NTA Kano, a development described by Director General of the NTA as a good omen for better viewing experience of development broadcasting. Elizabeth Hila has an update on the project.
The renovation project, which started in October this year, was embarked upon due to the dilapidated state of the station, with leakages and deterioration of the roofing in some parts of the building. The State Commissioner, Ministry of Works and Infrastructural Development, Idris Wadasali, whose ministry is overseeing the project, visited the station to inspect the quality and progress of work being carried out.
This work is a very gigantic work, and I'm highly impressed with the scope of the work and the quality of the work that has been going on here.
While on a visit to the state, the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, commends the state government's good gesture, saying, "This will further smoothen the service-oriented relationship between NTA and the state government."
This general manager has practicalized, what I've always been preaching. He's gone out, he's shown commitment to the programs of the state government, and the governor is happy that NTA Kano is part and parcel of Kano State, and as a result, the governor has come to the assistance of NTA. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Things don't happen. People make things happen. And the GM NTA Kano, with the support of his staff, have made things to happen.
Yakubu Ibn Muhammad further said this will also ease the transition of the station to a network center come 2022. In Kano, Elizabeth Yila, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Amina. The Abuja Electricity Distribution Company says power supply to some of its areas of operation, especially those on the 11 kV network, have been disrupted following the industrial action embarked upon by the National Union of Electricity Employees. A statement by the General Manager Corporate Communication of AEDC, Bode Fadipe, says efforts are ongoing to resolve the issues that prompted the strike. In the meantime, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, regrets the disruption of power supply within the AEDC franchise and assures electricity consumers that normal bulk power delivery to AEDC will be restored as soon as the injection substations are opened for onward electricity supply to consumers. Areas under AEDC franchise include Abuja, Nasarawa, Kogi, parts of Edo, Niger and Kaduna states. All right, let's bring you an update on COVID-19. As at 5th of December, this 2021, Nigeria Center for Disease Control confirms 55 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The breakdown shows that Lagos has 37, Edo 6, Osun 5, Oyo 4, Ogun 2 and Ekiti 1. Total confirmed cases now stands at 214,622. Discharged cases 207,450, and death is 2,980 recorded so far. The federal government has reacted to Britain's decision to put Nigeria on its red alert list over COVID-19, describing the decision as discriminatory. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at a media briefing in Abuja. Let's hear the details from Anthony Forson.
As spokesman for the federal government, Lai Mohammed said,
"The decision by the British government to put Nigeria on the red list just because of less than 24 cases of Omicron, which, by the way, did not originate in Nigeria, is unjust, unfair, punitive, indefensible, and discriminatory. How do you slam this kind of discriminatory action on a country of 200 million people just because of less than 24 cases?"
The minister maintained that the travel ban slammed on some African countries is no solution to the problem.
Let me use this opportunity to highlight the fact that travel ban, the type that has been slammed on some African countries, is a knee-jerk reaction that can only be detrimental to our quest to most conclusively tackle the pandemic. Why can't the world take a serious look at the issue of access to vaccine and ensure that it is based on the principles grounded in the right of every human being to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health without discrimination?
Insisting that vaccine monopoly is at the root of derailing the fight against the pandemic, as countries with enormous resources have resorted to hoarding the vaccines, denying smaller countries access to it. In the meantime, the Presidential Steering Committee has issued a revised protocol to guide travelers with effect from the 5th of December. The minister was emphatic that whatever decision to be taken on the pandemic must be scientifically driven rather than based on emotions. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA.
In a related development, Nigeria has expressed strong commitment to the global agenda to end the COVID-19 pandemic by December 2022. President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, at the opening of a national COVID-19 summit to review Nigeria's response to the pandemic, said the legislature will make budgetary provisions to fight the pandemic and implement recommendations from the summit. Mitarik Ben reports.
2 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, various actors and players in the national response are gathered at this summit to identify successes, gaps, and lessons learned so far. The pandemic took the world by surprise, but also revealed the resilience of Nigerians as a people, and the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has resolved to leverage on modest achievements to strengthen Nigeria's healthcare delivery system.
There is need for openness and frankness. Where we've done well, applaud us. Where we have not been able to meet up to the expectations of our people, remind us.
I believe that this summit will come up with consensus, recommendations, deliberations, and solutions.
Global health security must be built on the foundation of our national health security, and our national health security must be laid on the foundation of the individual and personal health security.
But our work here is not yet done. The United States continues to work with Nigerian stakeholders to prevent, detect, and respond to COVID-19 and to ensure this response is both effective and coordinated.
The National Assembly is concerned about developing an accountability framework for COVID-19 response and health security in Nigeria.
Whatever is necessary will be provided for Nigeria to continue to fight for the pandemic and beyond it. and I like that applause, but there is a condition, a caveat, that those who will be giving those funds need to provide the kind of prudence that is necessary. The economy, the efficiency in the deployment and application of those resources.
The summit's blueprint for Nigeria's pandemic recovery, reconstruction, and health security will be passed on to Mr. President.
The objectives of Nigeria's COVID-19 summit are well spelled out, and it is hoped that the lessons gleaned or garnered from this pandemic will be applied to boost Nigeria's public health system and response to any future pandemic. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The fact-checking training course 3 has ended in Abuja with the resolve by participants towards implementing skills learned for a better Nigeria. Kenneth Inanim reports that the capacity building workshop was organized by the National Orientation Agency.
It is an established fact that the strength of Nigeria as a country lies in the unity of its diversity. Amongst its socioeconomic challenges, spread of fake news, hate speech and misinformation, especially on the social media platforms, is having a negative impact on national security. At this workshop, therefore, participants have been introduced to various digital applications for verification and techniques of flagging down of such misleading information.
As a collective, as individuals, then at the institutional levels, everybody will have to play a role in his or her little corner towards creating the kind of society that we all wish to see.
The workshop also identified that more emphasis on the factors that unite us as a people, other than issues that divide us, is a culture Nigerians must imbibe to curb spread of fake news and misguided utterances.
Nigerians have the right to know what is truth. Nigerians have the right to see the truth. And Nigerians have the right to follow what is truth. So my role now as a citizen of this country, a staff of Federal and Revenue Service, is to help guide Nigerians towards the facts and the truth.
The change begins with me. So I believe what I've learned today will go a long way in helping to stop the spread of fake news in Nigeria, whereby bringing development and love amongst ourselves.
The agency is expected to train 37,000 Nigerians on fact-checking techniques in line with its strategic 5-year work plan. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
We'll make another stop, this time to Port Harcourt, to join Jenny, where she'll be bringing us the next set of reports.
Thank you, Ruth. The federal government has been called upon to issue licenses to only prospective companies capable of responding to emergencies of oil spills in the Niger Delta. The call was made at the 12th Public Lecture and Award of Environmental Outreach magazine in Port Harcourt. Robinson Derataide reports that the Director General of the NTA was among the awardees.
The Environmental Outreach magazine is a foremost environmental-based publication concerned with issues of the environment. The increasing cases of oil spills and ineffective implementation of regulatory policies, as well as lack of improved mechanism for responding to oil spills and maritime emergencies, are the major concerns of stakeholders. Hence, the theme of the 12th Public Lecture and Award Ceremony, which is Balancing Economic Development and Environmental Protection.
Let us therefore come together to continue to fight any form of degradation of our common heritage, from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri and from Calabar to Sokoto.
The environment is no one's property to destroy. It is everyone's responsibility to protect it.
No oil company should be given opportunity to explore oil in Nigeria if you don't have the capacity to contain spill. You must have that capacity.
Among the personalities honored at the Epoch event were the Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, ably represented by the Assistant Director Marketing, Evelyn Woso, and the Bayelsa and River State governments, which received Excellence Public Service Awards.
Bad boys go to the rig and they break the pipelines and then they get settled. Sometimes because of the way they reward the bad ones, the good ones are wondering, should we really continue to be good or should we go and do whatever they are doing? I think that also is an approach that should be looked into.
The event also featured the unveiling of the recent publication of the magazine. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Delateide, NTA News.
The quest to rid Nigeria coastal lines of economic saboteurs and provide a safe marine environment for socio-economic activities to thrive has taken a new dimension, with many suspects arrested and are awaiting trial. Kelvin Samuel reports that a total of 65 suspects have been arrested within a week by NNS Thunder and handed over to the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) in Akwa Ibom State.
The suspects, according to Captain MUHAMMADU, changed their mode of operations by taking it closer to the Cameroonian waterways to avoid arrest by men of the forward operating base, Ibaka. Unknown to the suspects that the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Thunder regularly patrols the border coastal areas to monitor activities there, cited and apprehended them.
The arrest is premised on the directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Aguele of zero tolerance to all forms of criminalities on our maritime domain, particularly smuggling, crude oil theft, and other vices.
The prosecuting agency, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, commended the Navy for maintaining the existing synergy between the two agencies while assuring of their readiness to conduct adequate investigation and possible prosecution of suspects.
The Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, he has ordered us to go after any form of vandalizations. Today we thank the Nigerian Navy for giving us the suspects and the exhibit. Thank you. We'll get back to you when we are done with the investigation.
4 wooden boats, 16,000 liters of automotive gas oil, and 370 bags of fish belonging to the suspects were among exhibits handed over to the NSCDC in compliance with the law. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide will continue in Sokoto after the break.
An entrepreneur. Do you operate small businesses, sell, promote, or market product or equipment, rent, hire, produce, offer services in music, food, fashion, film, photography, painting, sculpture, play, drama, comedy, travel, and hospitality sector? Enjoy Nigeria Expo 2021 is here for you to showcase your product, services, and skills. Learn how to grow your business, connect with customers, network with frontline entrepreneurs in your sector across Nigeria. Enjoy Nigeria Expo is holding from December 6 to 12, 2021 at the Abuja International Trade and Convention Center, Kilometer 8, Umariyar Adwa Expressway, Airport Road, Abuja. For inquiry, call 009-114-3424, 009-643-0859. Enjoy Nigeria Expo 2021 is brought to you by Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Welcome to Nigeria Project and Abuja Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Enjoy Nigeria, future assured through cultural creativity.
Over Femi Martins. Just look at this. Remember the name. That is a wonderful goal.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA. Powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day.
NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
To have you join us in Sokoto. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar has challenged Nigerians to continue to live peacefully with one another despite the country's diversity. He made the call while receiving the governor of Delta State on a courtesy visit at his palace. Lalata Abdullahi has the report.
The governor of Delta State was accompanied to the Sultan Palace by the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol. Sultan Muhammad Saad said peace is the pillar of development in any society, urging Nigerians to see their diversity as a great advantage toward achieving national development and cohesion, while pledging to, as community leaders, do more for the country to prosper. Sultan Saad described education as the best legacy of the caliphate. He stated that to further keep historical records of the caliphate, he had directed the publishing of a book that will contain brief biographies of the 20 sultans of Sokoto, from Sheikh bin Fodio to the 20th sultan.
Make sure there is peace and stability in the whole community. So without peace, we can't develop.
Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, said he was at the Sultan's palace to pay traditional homage and seek for royal blessings from the Sultan. Dr. Okowa acknowledged the role of the Sultanate in promoting the unity and the peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, calling on leaders to continue to interact and identify more ways of making Nigeria a strong and united entity.
You are a man of peace, and I know that you have the intellect to be able to send those conversations, and you are respected enough across this nation.
Dr. Okowa was in Sokoto on a two-day official engagement. In Sokoto, Lalata Abdullahi, NTA News.
Zamfara State Police Command has arrested 3 persons in connection with the gruesome murder of 3 Fulani men at Bargaja community in Gusau local government area of the state. The suspected murderers were paraded before newsmen along exhibits recovered from them, as well as other suspects involved in various crimes. Halru Muhammad Umar has more.
The suspected killers of the 3 Fulani said to be members of the outlawed vigilante group popularly known as Ensake were alleged to have invaded the Fulani settlement with the intention of launching an attack that was repelled by the police.
The operatives have succeeded in containing the situation as well as arresting their suspect for gruesomely killing 3 people in the village using cutlass and knives.
The suspects, who denied committing the crime, however, said they found corpses of the Fulani men but macheted their bodies. Items recovered from the suspects, according to the police commissioner, include 1 locally fabricated gun, a cutlass, and 2 knives with blood stain, among others, threatened that they would be prosecuted upon completion of investigation. CP Ayuba Elkana also announced the recovery of 3 AK-47 rifles and some rounds of live ammunition at Shinkafi Maradon Forest, following an invasion on enclaves of abductors who escaped with gunshots. The Commissioner of Police further disclosed the arrest of 4 suspects in connection with criminal conspiracy and armed robbery.
The victims were attacked or hit at the back of their head with a view to kill them. During the attack, the following items were snatched away from the suspects: 2 Techno and 1 Infinite handset valued at 135,000 naira.
Other breakthrough recorded by the police was the arrest of 4 suspects involved in the recent blockage of Gusau Zaria Federal Highway along Sabongida in Kotorkoshi Emirate of Bungudu local government area. CP Aguele, who said the command has ordered the deployment of security personnel to places of worship, warned that security threats and any breach of law and order will not be tolerated. In Gusau, Halliru Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja. Thank
you, Sadia. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and his Lagos State counterpart, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, wants more women active participation in politics for Nigeria's sustainable development. At a gathering of over 3,000 women in Akure, Ondo State, hosted by the wife of the governor, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, the governors challenged Nigerian women to take their rightful place in the polity. Toyin Batire has details.
No doubt, women contribute in no small measure to development of the society, hence, their development is development of all. This is one of the objectives of the Foundation of Wives of Ondo State Officials, FOWOSO, a concept of the wife of the governor. The third FOWOSO summit is with the theme turning around the economic status of women in a COVID-19 era. And for the women, it is time to take charge.
Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, she's really trying for women in Ondo State, and we really appreciate her.
Within these few months that I've been part of FOWOSO, I've learned quite a lot.
Women from the 18 local government areas of Ondo State received various empowerment materials to boost their trade and businesses. In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
In Imo State, stakeholders have stressed the need to adopt measures that will ensure elimination of violence against women. They made their views known at a seminar organized by the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Imo State Chapter, to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Reina Obasi reports.
Report from Alliance for Africa, a non-governmental organization in Imo State, shows that over 3,000 cases of violence against women and girls have been documented in the past 1 year. Human rights activist Mrs. Nenaya Enyinaya, while addressing participants at a seminar on elimination of violence against women, organized by Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Imo State Chapter, says available statistics only show the figure of reported cases, as most victims are silent due to fear of stigmatization.
You don't want anybody to call you names, so we're avoiding stigma and discrimination, and things are going wrong. There's a strong, very strong limitation to our work against gender-based violence.
Other speakers at the seminar enjoin women journalists to do more in highlighting cases of violation of women.
In the spirit of 16 days activism is for us to start using our pen, using every slot.
If we don't tell our stories, nobody will tell our stories for us. We wear our shoes, we know where it pinches us.
The chairman, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Imo State, Dr. Dorothy Nnaji, and some participants speak.
I will have to partner them, then I will now know where I can fuse both my professional knowledge and the field knowledge.
We need to speak out. We need to use NAWASH platform to write, to inform the public what some of these people are passing through.
For the efforts of the government and human rights groups to yield the needed result, the people say all hands must be on deck. In Owerri, Reina Obasi, NTA News.
The need to understand market dynamics and adherence to specific export certification value chains, key players say, is critical to enhancing the exportation of Nigerian agri-produce globally. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria are optimistic that with revitalization of identified missing links, Nigeria agribusiness will continue to be the mainstay of the economy. Let's hear more from Lydia Sampson.
With the world leaning more on organic products, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are unanimous on meeting requirements of import permits for countries which are usually clearly stated and varies depending on countries. Guests have harped on the need for value addition to products banned for export so as to create employment.
The issue of value chain has not been an issue that we have paid attention as a nation. But in the last 10 years, yes, it has come to fore that we must do agriculture as a business. Agribusiness is what it's supposed to be. And that's what other nations have been doing to be successful.
We need to also have an interface with
different levels of regulators in terms of curriculum development that will be in tune with the global realities in the agricultural sector. We cannot continue to live in the past.
They also reiterate the need for interface between all stakeholders on the way forward in enhancing Nigerian agro-produce.
The moment you get SON, OGA, quarantine, SGS Nigeria, not SGS France, we must be able to create our own SGS Nigeria to now begin to create our own local certifications based on the principles, based on the support of the quarantine agency.
We have the trainings for exporters, new exporters, zero to export, whereby we bring new people who have retired from service, people who have money, and bring them together, give them training for 3 months, so do this, can get it right. Because actually where we are talking about is export actually is meant for the people who have the knowledge and the capacity.
The guys pointed out that though agribusiness is capital intensive, especially getting the right volume for exports, deploying technology and engaging experts will continue to strengthen Nigeria's agro products and open more windows for sustainable growth and exports. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Nigeria is unrelenting towards building a more robust and resilient economy that is less dependent on oil and reliant on its own goods. Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, gave federal government's policy stance at the opening of maiden edition of Enjoy Nigeria Expo holding in Abuja. Bosade Abel reports.
The expo put together by Welcome to Nigeria project in collaboration with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Ministry of Information, with the theme A Future Assured Through Cultural Creativity, seeks to attract more investors to the Nigerian economy.
It is pertinent to note that the Nigerian economy, under the leadership of President MUHAMMADU BUHARI GCFR, has now been fully diversified away from oil and gas. A lot of nations in the world actually survive on their cultural heritages.
That we've formed a platform for all categories of businesses to expand their customer base, promote their goods and services.
INEX 2021 is also a platform to draw the attention of the world to Nigeria's untapped sectors that include creative, cultural, entertainment and tourism. The emphasis here is on women and youth to build their capacity in their respective businesses.
We felt that, of course, if we initiate an expo, a platform, then we'll be able to draw those the world doesn't know from the rural area. We bring out their product, we help them in setting up their, giving their product a face and all of that. And that can only happen when we have a platform of this nature, Enjoy Nigeria Expo.
More than 10 states have indicated interest to participate at the expo, where various made in Nigeria products will be on display. In Abuja, Bosade Abel, NTA News.
Reporters covering the extractive industry are being equipped with requisite knowledge of the sector. Kenneth Inanim reports that the workshop is at the instance of Daily Trust newspaper in collaboration with MacArthur Foundation. Let's see that.
In line with Section 22 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the press has the responsibility to hold government accountable on behalf of the people. It becomes imperative, therefore, that journalists must have an in-depth knowledge of laws, policies and operational issues in the industry that contributes over 90% of Nigeria's revenue and 1/3 of its GDP.
We feel that we should build on their capacity so that they can be able to understand the sector and at the same time be able to report to the public adequately.
Other areas of concern include understanding extractive industry value chain, the geography of Nigeria's natural resources, oil and gas in Nigeria, mining, and local content inclusion, as well as blockade of financial leakages.
Extractive industry is a very technical one, and it is our responsibility to communicate to the viewer in terms of humanizing and making our stories more conversational. And in an era of ICT, we should be comfortable with figures.
this seminar has helped us to understand what are expected of us as journalists, in what we are to what the public expects us to report, and how well to report the sector.
At the end of the workshop, it is expected that reporters would have a wider knowledge and scope of reportage that will help to reposition the industry for the good of all Nigerians. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
All right, let's take sports update.